Well. It looks like participating in these various riots and participating in these groups that are funded by, well, who knows who, what international organizations, or whatever the case may be, to disrupt ICE not only has cost the life of a mother, which is tragic. I take no joy in that. Um, Now her girlfriend, not her wife, people are falsely reporting her wife, may be losing the $1.5 million she grifted off of her death as the DOJ is now set to investigate um, Renee Good's. They keep saying wife, but I've seen no evidence that they're actually married. On top of a bunch of prosecutors in Minnesota are quitting their jobs because they aren't getting the big credit, the credit that they deserve, or whatever. Or they don't want to prosecute a criminal. This is absolutely bonkers. It's absolutely bonkers. Let me see here. Let me pull up this article. So, breaking: DOJ now opens investigation to Renee Good's wife, Becca, for actions on the day of the incident and her ties to militant far-left groups. Remember, she is the one that specifically said, this was my fault, I brought her here, she said, drive, baby, drive. Remember also that she has a massive GoFundMe. I believe Renee Good, here it is. What is that? $1.5 million. The donations have been paused, but I have questions about maybe who this anonymous person was that donated $50,000. There's a lot of questions I have around people that are paying this money, because let me be very clear: the people that are showing up at these events, they are going there because somebody smarter than them, with more money than them, wants them to get hurt. Let me repeat that. These NPCs, these pawns that are showing up at these events and using their cars to ram into ICE officers, they don't know that the people that put them there, the powers that be, that added them to that Facebook, that bought them lunch, that paid them bonuses for extra heroics, as we've seen, right? I'm forgot I'm on the Jeremy Hambley channel here. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. You might not recognize it, but I have this is my private channel, my personal channel. They are being paid to be there, to be martyrs. That's why they're there. They are there so something bad happens to them, so that the people who are funding this stuff can profit from their death. How many Democrat leaders have been standing on Renee Good's corpse since moments after, before the body was even cold? That is why these people are there. They don't know that. They think they're fighting for freedom. They think they're out there fighting the man. They're not. They are pawns, just like that 21-year-old kid that got his eye poked out yesterday by a rubber projectile, charging at police. He's going to be blind in that eye for his whole life. The people that wanted him there, that fed him the TikTok reels, the Instagram reels, that printed out these anonymous flyers on how to behave around police, they wanted his eye to get poked out. That is what this is all about. They want these people, and they are too dumb to ever realize it. And then, by the way, there's a bunch of Trump supporters headed to Minneapolis right now, just as dumb. Don't do it. I'm seeing all these posts on X. Patriots are coming to X. No, don't do that. Because that's what they want. The people who are funding this want endless clips of people wearing Trump gear beating up some blue-haired leftist. They want you to go there to ruin your life, so that the woke prosecutors in Minnesota, just like they did to Derek Chauvin, can give you charge after charge after charge and ruin your life. Meanwhile, the people who are gassing you up on X, who are sending you donations, They sit at home. Do not let these people use you as pawns. Now, the DOJ is investigating the girlfriend of Renee Good. The New York Times reports that the Justice Department has launched an investigation to examine the ties between Ms. Good and Becca and several groups that have been monitoring and protesting the conduct of immigration agents in recent weeks. These prosecutors were reluctant to look into Renee Good, who said after the incident that it was all her fault. Prosecutors further, per the New York Times, were displeased about the lack of an investigation into the ICE agent, Jonathan Ross, who protected himself from getting run over as her car accelerated into him. The state of Minnesota has also been under investigation by the Department of Justice for fraud, in which primarily members of the Somali immigrant community formed businesses and nonprofits to obtain grants from the state to provide social services that they never delivered. Billions have been swindled under Minnesota's lax oversight. Nick Shirley has a part 2 of his video coming out later tonight. I'll cover all the highlights from that too in another video, probably on this channel. So make sure you subscribe to this channel. Joseph H. Thompson, who was involved in the investigation for U.S. Attorney's Office, had successfully prosecuted dozens of defendants, was one of the people who left his position. Thompson resigned after senior Justice Department officials pressed him for a criminal investigation into the action of the widow of Renee Nicole Good, the Times reported. I see this as an absolute win. Like, do people understand that? If we have prosecutors in Minnesota and in any other state, right? And they are saying, I don't want to do my job because I have political motivations in whether or not I do my job, then are these people really interested? My dog is very excited. The vacuum is going on. I assure you, she is fine. So we basically have woke prosecutors who are saying, well, I support what this woman was doing, so I'm not going to do my job. All this media, right? DOJ pushed to investigate Renee Good's widow sparks mass resignation. Rather than open an investigation into Good's, the officer that defended himself, top Department of Justice officials want to look into her grieving widow. Well, they should. She admitted, quite frankly, I brought her here. This is my fault, right? I think it's worth taking a look. She benefited $1.5 million from this woman's death. I think it's worth probably looking at, right? 6 prosecutors quit over push to investigate ICE incident with the victim's widow. I don't believe that. And if they really did, good. I think that's better for the state